So one time, this fat guy, right? He goes to a wrestling show, and pays a mighty amount of cash to get some good ass seats, and the show's popping, dude. Show's off the heezy, if you will. And then he just gets up and leaves for pretty much the main event and the match before that, and pretty much the whole show is just gone.
He might be dead.
Might be dead. Might be clogging up the toilet because he ate too many damn fucking hot dogs at the beginning of the show.
Cracker Barrel.
Yes, that's right. We're talking about Double or Nothing from AEW, the show where the fat guy in the crowd distracted us so much that it kind of became about him.
Yeah, a little
towards the end there. That being said, this was proving grounds, man. This was all or nothing for the WWE. Was this gonna be something that they worried about or not? Was this gonna be relevant or not? Now they had All In before, and that's fair enough. But I think there was a general feeling in the community that this was the big statement right here.
Yeah, because it was basically their first show.
And definitely this was a point in Cody Rhodes' career where it was like, this is not only the general feeling, but this is what I'm saying, which became evident in the show. But anyway, we had a compatriot of ours that watched this, and he was like, it was fucking crap, basically.
Yeah, hating.
So we had to watch it, because if you've been subscribed to this channel, you might have noticed that we've been gone, and that's probably it's definitely because WWE stole our souls and made us wish we were dead at every turn of the corner, man.
Yeah.
It was getting better for a while there, but then it
burst our quads.
Yeah, they started fumbling up again, and it was impossible to keep up with it and watch it and care. You gave up. I still watch it, but it was like, what are you guys doing?
No.
What is this? I don't understand how you can drop the ball this bad continuously.
Continuously, yeah.
Like, oh, look, they fixed some stuff. Nope, they introduced something worse. No matter how many good things they introduce, they just always bungle it with something awful on the other end. So WWE is the ass weeds right now. The question is, did AEW look, I'm gonna say that root beer's pretty good.
Mix of me root beer.
Did AEW bring on the game and pose a legitimate threat to the WWE? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, when it comes to just the quality of a show, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be an uphill battle for AEW to actually get a foothold and
just because of how big.
Put a dent on WWE, because WWE has the monopoly on the general audience. But as far as fans of wrestling goes, AEW just said, this is your brand. Period. And I'd find it hard to find a wrestling fan that would disagree. I'm sure there's going to be some. Marcus. But this went out of its way to go, we are setting a standard, and it's going to be impossible for the WWE to reach that standard, which is pathetic, because they didn't really go, check it out, let's put this fucking bar all the way up here.
No, if anything, they kind of made it a more intimate type of deal.
Yeah, it's really like the ABCs of wrestling put on fucking display. Like, look, it's this simple, guys, is really what they said.
Yeah.
And it's sad that WWE is probably not going to get that message. It's fucking sad. So, anyway, let's talk about the show proper, because it was a banger. We're going to talk about this more in a pro and cons type of scenario. Just because I want to start off with this. Pro number one, no boring Baron Corbin. That alone makes this an A+ show in my books.
Yeah.
Boo! But that's really unfair, because that's just a more stab at WWE, which really brings me to my real first pro, and it's all that passive-aggressive stabbing at WWE that the commentary team, especially JR, did. So that's a definite pro. And it wasn't really bitter. It was more like, this is obvious, guys. Yeah. Again, that whole, like, dude, this is the structural foundation of wrestling angle. Specifically
that part where he's like, yeah, man, tag team wrestling doesn't have to suck.
Yeah. I mean, he was on it as often as he could be. It was pretty great. Which, another pro, man, JR on the commentary, just being JR. Yeah. Proving that WWE had no reason to get rid of him. They just wanted to, obviously. because they felt that he was an old car. You know,
The lemon.
yeah. Come on, man. The guy. You got to take into consideration that this is the start of a bigger thing, and he felt like he's been there for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he can only get better the more familiar he gets with everything in the company. So, I mean, fuck. That's a fucking awesome pro. That you could bring something back that the fans love, and it doesn't have to be retarded ass shit like the WWE. Every time they bring some garbage back that you don't want.
That's another thing is like they do bring a couple people back, fan favorites like Tommy Dreamer's in there looking fat.
Fat AF.
So you do get Glacier.
Glacier.
You do get a couple like nostalgia things, but they're not lame, and they're not like suddenly they're like the best thing ever like WWE. Like, yes. Goldberg's back and now he's the top guy.
First things first is, yes, the fan service is on point because, like you say, it's not fan service with the intent of just putting the old people over again.
Yeah.
You understand the moment Glacier comes out, you understand this is fan service because they respect the fans and they want the fans to enjoy the old faces again, that they're self-aware. I mean, they put Glacier in the mix. They're self-aware of what's going on. They're giving you something that you're going to enjoy, but it's evident that those people are not going to go over. They might help people go over, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
No more like bringing Undertaker back for the 1 billionth time.
No one cares anymore.
Nobody cares anymore. The poor guy can hardly wrestle anymore, and they're still, taking him out of the barn and fucking parading him around like a lame ass horse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It felt, like you say, it felt right. It felt like this is the way fan service should be done. And it was fun, dude. I mean, who thought that watching Glacier freeze someone could be fun?
Yeah.
It's retarded. It's stupid. But you know what? It was enjoyable. Which brings me to another pro. The humor here is leagues above the shit-ass humor that WWE is renowned for, which is basically fart jokes and I don't even know what to call that humor, dude.
Yeah.
I don't understand fucking Vince McMahon's sense of humor. It's garbage.
I could totally see like morons like Jim Cornette freaking crying about it, because there is a little bit of a wink to some of the humor.
Yeah, that's true.
But at this point, who cares? We know it's a show.
It's over.
Yeah.
Kayfabe's done with. Really, kayfabe was done with, unless you were a, I don't know, hill ape. And by that I mean, you know what I'm talking about? The dirty Southern dudes that, probably have like 10 cars on blocks in their fucking front yard, and to them it's real.
None of them work.
Those people maybe thought that wrestling was real. I was a fucking kid around 10 years old when I first saw wrestling, and it didn't take me but a few tapings to go, why are these guys always losing and those guys always, this is fake.
Yeah. Or are they waiting to fight each other a whole week?
Yes, why would you? Yes. Anyway, kayfabe's over with, so yeah, some people are going to cry. Corny's probably going to be one of them. God love him, but fuck. Get over it, dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, and it wasn't just one time, but several times where they were very self-referential, and in terms of the fans, they were like, we know you know.
Yeah.
This is entertainment done right.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're not going to call it sports entertainment. It's going to be wrestling.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another pro, all the passive aggressiveness in the commentary. Lots of jabs at WWE. Lots of references to how to do things right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't even call them bitter because they're right.
Yep.
It wasn't even like, all right, dude, we get it. It was like, nope, that's
stinky.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, so I like that, man.
Quads.
You got anything, man?
I think just they, like you said, I don't know if we said this already, but they let the wrestlers do their thing.
Yeah, that's true, man.
So that's good. You don't get like this watered down sports entertainment. You actually see them do their thing.
Yeah.
And they seem comfortable and they seem like they're enjoying it. Not just like, oh man, I gotta go out there and do the same thing again for the 15,000th time.
Mm-hmm.
Overworked and tired.
The movesets were varied on each wrestler. You didn't, like you say, you didn't get that same, they're gonna do this move now.
Yeah.
A great example is one I always brought up in old videos, and it's Ruby Riott, who had a massive moveset, and the moment she went to the main roster, basically had one move, didn't wrestle, always lost.
Yeah.
Well, I hear people, tertiary characters that were in there for a second had like 1,000 moves. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it's just fun to see athletes be athletes. To actually have people let them do what they can do out there, and not have every fucking move scripted to the point where you're just like, yeah, that's gonna happen next. Oh yeah, that guy's gonna lose. There was an element of unpredictability to things, even when they were predictable in the show. There was a few things that were predictable. Obviously, you knew this person was gonna win. Sometimes but the fact that they could still provide an enticing, exciting match. Who knew that could happen? WWE.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Watching people cut promos that don't feel scripted.
Yeah.
Watching people do stuff that wouldn't even pass muster in the WWE. Just fun, man. Refreshing. A breath of fresh fucking air if I've ever seen one. I gotta throw some cons out there, doubt. Because it's necessary. Once the first pre-show battle royale started, which was a blast, there was headshots introduced, Tommy Dreamer style. And granted, those trash cans look pretty flimsy.
Yeah.
But a headshot's a headshot, and we should know better by now. I don't know how prominent that's going to be in AEW. We did see the headshots return later. So we'll see, I guess. I guess used sparingly, it wouldn't be that bad. And I know there's a ravenous section of the community that would be like, hell yeah, that's back.
Break your brain.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Chris Benoit. Yeah, come on, man. That should be behind the industry by now. There's other ways to achieve similar effects, especially with the athleticism displayed here. I mean, you don't need a headshot to be impressive anymore. So that was something that kind of stuck out for me. Although I'll balance it with that Battle Royale, introducing a lot of diversity into the mix. Every walk of wrestler was introduced, even the ones that couldn't walk. We had a guy with no skanky fucking feet and calves.
Be better than Baron.
Dude, yes. That's bad, dude. When you have no fucking lower legs and your league's better than Baron Corbin. And not even when you're wrestling, just when you're just laying there. In general,
yeah. Existing, you're better than Baron.
Man. Yeah, but anyway, the handy-capable, the handicapped.
The tiny guys.
Gays.
Fatties.
Fatties, yeah, for sure.
Hags.
All types of raceless. Hags, old-ass hags. There was much representation to be made here. And guess what? They all did their job incredibly well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Vince, you don't have to be a cut-up-ass white dude to be super cool.
Yeah.
In fact, this show just made us realize that, not that we didn't know this already, but it became blaringly obvious that if you're a cut-up white, the white part has nothing to do with it. If you're just a cut-up muscular dude, you're very limited in what you can do. And looking impressive only goes...
Brian Cage or something.
Yeah, Brian Cage is the exception to the rule, I think. We all know this. But, yeah, man, it really limits you to a certain amount of moves, unless you're an amazing athlete on top of that, which, is kind of like the perfect mix. But yeah, here are people of all walks of life, all physical proportions, and dubious sexualities at times, going, hey, look, we could be 10,000 times more entertaining than this hogwash that you're being fed on the daily over here.
You don't have to have teeth.
Yeah, no teeth necessary, folks. You heard it here first. I'm gonna knock mine out right now.
I got a con.
All right.
That I just thought of. They kind of had some like occasional production issues. Mm-hmm. Mainly in that the second women's match, were just those Titantrons completely wrong all the time.
It was a weird. I don't think they were wrong. I think that they just showed the team over and over again. But it was just like, was weird, why don't you just show each individual person with their own car? It
was odd.
It was a weird presentation. And there was little flubs here and there, some odd cuts at times. A straight up shot of a fucking butt at one point. Yeah. And I'm not talking Cody Rhodes' butt. I'm talking just like a close up of an ass.
Yeah.
Like, that was a weird 3 seconds of my life. But I will say, to the other end of the spectrum here, these were way less production flubs than you would expect for a big outing like this. for its second time, sure, but really its first big time.
Yeah.
And moreover, I'll take these few flubs over sitting through 6 hours of this is boring, man.
Yeah. Stop cutting to the crowd.
You know, you take a little bad with a good, but I stress, probably you'll agree with this, little itty bitty, it wasn't even a problem, really.
No, it was just something you noticed. Like, occasionally,
yes,
JR had a hard time starting something. You'd be like,
yeah,
he's old.
And you know what? That was great because there was a particular portion where he was kind of like, where are we at specifically?
Yeah.
And he just voiced it. And it just so happened to fit with the next part of the narrative, which was the Rhodes brothers going up against each other. And you know what? In WWE, that would have led to the other announcers...
Yeah, Corey jumping on it.
Yeah, tearing him down. Or whoever it would have been. Tearing them down, making fun of them. Just making coarse, crappy jokes. Who gives a shit? Instead... Excalibur and the other guy whose name I can't remember, but who looked like Garth Brooks, like strung out. They were just respectful, and vice versa to them and etc. You know, and that is, please, not hearing Michael Cole scream in my ear was a blessing on its own. But having commentary that didn't sound like complete fucking cheese graters to my soul.
Yeah, and it's not full of. It wasn't full of pointless calls and catchphrases and shitty names that they give wrestlers. Is just like,
the only way this commentary could have been better was if it had Mauro Ranallo in it.
Yeah,
who is an exciting commentator. That's it. Other than that, this is the commentary we need. Something that's not intrusive, that ruins watching something. Like, I could actually be watching something fun on WWE, and Michael Cole's voice alone is like, oh, dude, shut up.
Dog.
Yeah, it's just awful, dude. And just, such a fucking relief to not be annoyed 24/7, even if you're enjoying something, by fucking commentary.
Yeah.
Woo, that was good. I got a con, though. And I don't know if this bothered you. It didn't bother me, but it's a con, I think, that you'll maybe agree with. There was a lot of great spots in this show. Tons of great spots per match. Stuff that I wanted to see again. And the replay was, man, they were really skimping on that replay.
I'm kind of okay just because of how much WWE spams it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it had that same Lucha Underground thing where it's like, man, the little replay would have been nice there.
Yeah, and I think the right balance of it is exactly what you need. Now, we did have replays at the end of the matches, which, was cool. But I think every now and then during the match, there was some shots, some spots that really called for it. Like, damn, I want to see that again. Or, wow, that was astonishing. And they just didn't do it as much. They did it every now and then, which I appreciate. Like you say, yes, WWE just does it for like somebody fucking...
standing.
Yeah, somebody stood and moved over an inch. Oh, my God! Look my butt! Like, shut the fuck up, Cole, you bitch. Anyway, fucking here, I was like, oh, man... I kind of wanted to see that again. That was cool.
There's some moments where they accidentally, miss a spot with the main camera.
Yes.
And it just would have been cool to have like another angle or something.
Yeah. Which brings me to another pro. Some of the camera shots in this were way improved over the fucking camera shots we get in WWE. There was just something about the way they were shooting this that they caught the majority of the action spot on. There was a few misses here and there, but there was just something about it. And then they also managed to use cameras in a way to build up characters at time. Like when they introduced Awesome Kong, spoiler if you haven't seen this, Awesome Kong comes into the the three-way match and is introduced as the fourth woman on behalf of Brandy Rhodes. She's going to have her own finger in the pie. And just seeing Awesome Kong back was cool for me. Kong fans here. Both Kongs now. But anyway, that was cool. I love Awesome Kong. And I was excited. And the way they built her up with a camera, just getting to the ring was like, damn, this bitch is bad.
She got all these like epic freaking
shots. She got these sweeping Highlander shots and then the close-up on her face. And, they just let the camera do a lot of the work to build her up as this badass.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a slight con that she was a little rusty. So
a little bit, yeah.
It didn't quite pan out as well. But I will say that I've already seen this event twice. And the second viewing, I didn't notice it as much.
Maybe
but
because she was out of the match most of it.
yeah, that's also kind of a little con. I mean, I would have stuck Kong up my ass at that point, like put it all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like a minor pro is that, just to go along with that, is that I don't know if it was just the feed we were watching, but it looked it didn't have that like super clean look.
I mean, I wouldn't criticize that because we were watching a rip-off feed.
That's a good freaking it's a pro. It looked weirdly cinematic. I don't know if they're using like specific cameras that just look better, but I like the look of it, and it had that smoky look.
Yeah, the classic,
the classic smoky look, which I'm all for.
Somebody's lungs are getting destroyed look.
Yeah.
Now earlier we mentioned the diversity being a great pro here. There was one controversy that we were aware of, and that's the use of Nyla Rose, which was also in that 4-woman match with Awesome Kong. Which Awesome Kong was kind of used to tamper the controversy a little bit here, I think. And that's Nyla Rose is a transgender male to female wrestler. And she was in a female match. Now, there was controversy, and that's understandable. But my point of view is that intergender matches are kind of a thing outside of the WWE. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of normal. And that is all. On top of that is a big one, I think, for both of us, is that this is not a real sport in the traditional sense. There's no actual competitiveness here. This is a stage sport. And, that allows you to work with people of other genders in a more fair and even way. Whereas if this was a real sport, that would be bullshit to put, fine, look, gender-wise, fine. If you want to be recognized as a woman, that's cool, man. I'll recognize you as a woman. But genetically speaking, you still got the upper hand, especially if you're a bigger dude, / woman, against, slips. But this is a fake sport, so I really don't see the controversy.
Yeah, especially because wrestling is more about just looking out for the other person.
Yes, exactly. In fact, that would probably be more helpful for the other people to have somebody that's more capable of catching them and all that stuff.
I think whatever controversy there was, it was mostly just from people who are used to WWE stuff.
Yeah.
And there is always like this weird amount of people that are just completely against any intergender shit.
That is very true as well.
And they're very vocal. So I guess maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think it proved otherwise. She competed very well with the others in terms of sports entertainment. And again, the Awesome Kong was introduced kind of as a way to even out, story-wise, her being there. So it worked out. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was fine, man. It's fine. We like intergender wrestling, More, bring it on,
Yeah.
Get Ruby Riott out, fucking WWE, bring her in here, have her do her old shit over here.
Yeah.
Fuck. Dude,
I heard apparently Evil East is doing a tryout with WWE. Kind of wish she would have gone on here.
Yeah, that's not good. Anyway, speaking of Evil East, who's not in this show.
Nope.
She used to be in Lucha Underground, which also had Angelico and Jack Evans, who participated here in a tag team match against the Best Friends. And great match. I gotta say, it's probably my least favorite match of the night. Not because it was a bad match, but because really secretly deep down inside I wanted Angelico and Jack Evans to win. And they didn't get to do as much of the stuff that they normally do, even though they got to do a lot of stuff. It's just they're kind of renowned for their outrageous spots. So that would have been cool. But that's not a pro or a con. I'm just mentioning that to set this up. The con is Angelico needs to get a new fucking outfit, dude.
Suit, yeah.
That outfit is 90s, bro.
I also want to bring up Lindemann's suit. Was not great.
Lindemann, for those of you who didn't watch, this is a Chinese guy somehow.
Anyway, the Chinese guy.
I get what
with blonde hair.
Yeah.
His name is Lindemann.
And he's
got
a
little suit. But mainly that's just because I don't enjoy thongs. And I also don't enjoy mini boots in wrestling unless you're like, I don't know, Roderick Strong or something.
He's going for that traditional strongman look, but yeah, it's not good.
No.
It's not good. Anyway, another pro here is the just gobsmacking amount of tag team matches.
Yeah.
Going out of the way, maybe even rubbing a little salt in the wound.
Definitely rubbing a little
to
salt.
show, hey, look at that. These things are exciting. If you know how to book them, you dick. And they were all exciting. And they were all good. So I mean, they just made sure and hammered that fucking nail deep.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was good, man, because the matches were all fucking great. Favorite one, I think you'll agree with me, Lucha Bros versus fucking Young Bucks.
I think if it goes strictly on a technical level, yes, but I do have another favorite.
Hit me with it.
I think story-wise, I enjoyed the Goldust. I know that's not his name anymore.
Well, that's not a tag team match, though.
Oh, you mean just in general? Yeah. Well, yeah. I would agree.
Tag team.
I meant just in general.
No. Tag team match. Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks was the highlight for me. Mainly because we're big Lucha Brothers fans, individually and by themselves. And I gotta say, look, I understand the love for the Young Bucks. Don't get me wrong, and they're very responsible for the bulk of this, along with Cody Rhodes and others. But I mean, let's be honest here. Compared to the Lucha Brothers, they didn't do jack shit.
I mean,
comparatively,
they're doing a lot of flips,
a
lot of kicks, and it all looked really nice. But we got a rep for our Mexican bros.
Yeah, the work rate from the Lucha Brothers was on fleek.
Yeah.
But no, great work from both of them. That was an awesome match. Favorite tag team match of the night for me.
I just ruined my favorite.
Yeah, so let's go on to the favorite singles match. You said that one was yours, and I gotta agree, man. And you know what? I knew Cody had to have known that was going to be the match of the night.
Yeah.
But he had the humility
to be like in the middle.
To be like, two matches away from the top build match. Had the humility to do that and the business acumen to do it, because Jericho is a big fucking win. It's a big name. Ditto on Kenny Omega. It's like you had the best of both worlds. The WWE, you got Jericho, the GOAT himself. And from the indie world, you got one of the biggest names. It's conquered every fucking promotion that's worth a damn out there, Kenny Omega. So he had the humility to step down and give them the spotlight, which I got to say, there are no slacks. Don't get me wrong. But easily the match of the night, Cody versus Dustin.
And interestingly enough, I think on a technical side, it wasn't the best thing ever, not even on the card. But there was a story behind it. Yeah. And it was a good one.
It was, this is the perfect blend of wrestling with story. That's it. And that alone puts it leagues above everything. And then we saw things, it was very old school. We saw things that, it's kind of a retread of a lot of elements. The newer generation putting out the older generation, but they rubbed their stank all over it by making making it about the theme of the show, which was sticking it to the WWE, saying this is the new, and they made that the theme of the thing. But then they also opened the doors to, if in a better world, I think Cody would be like, we would work with the WWE if they were willing to do that, and I think that statement was made there. And the way this match ended with Cody, soundly defeating his brother, and there was blood everywhere, literally. P.S. Another pro to see color for a change.
No.
Anyway, the way it ended with him gaining back the respect of his brother by what had been put out on the mat, and then extending a welcome to him to be part of a tag team match in another show. It was a genuinely moving, emotional moment in wrestling.
I'll say this: I'm not a tearer, and I don't think I've ever been moved by wrestling ever. When it comes to sadness or whatever, this was pretty close, man. It was a good moment, and it's impressive because I'm not up to date with all the ongoings, so this was just kind of like a going in raw type of thing. And it had that emotional, drive behind it, and it was actually kind of sad and kind of cool at the end. Yeah. And I got that little spine tingle, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, this is the moments that just off the top of my head, I might be wrong here. There might be another one I just can't remember right now. But the first thing that comes to mind is like Ric Flair being retired. Yeah. That was like a moment that to wrestling fans was big. You know what I'm saying? I can't even put Undertaker in there because, it was more of a shock thing, and really it was cheap and lame.
It went nowhere.
And ultimately just ruined Undertaker. But Ric Flair is probably the last time that I can recall right now off the top of my head where I was like, damn, that's sad. Yeah.
Not counting like deaths and shit.
Yeah, well, obviously not counting deaths, but in story.
Yeah.
And this was one of those moments, and it was genuinely moving, not only because of what was laid out there story-wise, but because you know the backstories to these people, and you know what they've done, and how much this means to them, and how much they put aside story-wise to just make this work. So that was awesome, man. It was a genuinely moving moment in wrestling, which, WWE has effectively ruined the ability for them to make.
And a lot of it came from it just felt real.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't like, hey there, friend.
Now we are good.
Now we are fellows.
Yeah.
And then Michael Cole, oh my God! They have just made up!
Yeah. WWE would have ruined this.
Yeah.
Hell, no, WWE wouldn't have even made this happen. But here they are, the most unconventional of headliners, not even headlining and making it happen. Yeah. That was fucking awesome, dude. I will say there was one negative to the Cody and Dustin match, and that's during the intros. There is a very obvious jab at Triple H and WWE with a throne.
Marcus really hated this.
Yes, there's a throne with an iron cross and skulls, obviously referential to Triple H. And Cody comes out, and Brandy, his wife, gives him a sledgehammer. And he goes to hit this thing. And look, Marcus called this cringy. And I agree that it's cringy, but it's cringy to me for one reason. They didn't do it right.
Yeah.
They had a throne that when he hit it was pre-rigged to pop.
Yeah.
A fake-ass smoke. And then break apart.
You could see the pipes on the side. Maybe if it was like a better angle or something, but no.
It wouldn't have saved it. Yeah. The smoke looked shitty. It looked like it was shot out of butt pipes.
Yeah, which you could see, by the way.
Yes, which you could see the pipes. And then on top of that, the rigged brakes were visible before the fucking thing broke. Yeah. So it was lame. I was like, that sucks. They could have just made that throne out of sand. There's some really good sandcastle people out there. It just, it disintegrating fucking Infinity War style under a fucking sledgehammer would have been way better than crappy ass corny pops. Which brings me to another fucking con I have against this. Look, it was nice to see Pyro again. Not. That's right, I went all the way to the 90s with a not.
A good one,
because fuck, this shit was worse than a not. Look, this Pyro sucked asses.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was not good Pyro.
I saw people sucking the Pyro off.
No, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
This was the definition of wimpy ass Pyro. Yeah. It was like when you're watching a porno and like they're like, oh hell yeah, this chick is getting banged, and then the dude just pops out the tiniest nut ever, and you're like, you pathetic worm.
Yeah.
This bitch was wanting it this whole time, and all you could conjure up was like a fucking droplet.
Yeah.
That was this Pyro. Like, it's not impressive.
Yeah.
They had these cool ass intros, and then the Pyro happens. You're like, oh. It was not cool Pyro, dude.
Yeah.
It sucked. Although I guess it did contribute to the smoky atmosphere. So
yeah, I do like that.
I'll give it that, man. Just a little quick pro here. The refs were acknowledged. I don't really care about refs. I realize their importance. Don't get me wrong. But it was nice to see that JR and company got so much pleasure from acknowledging people that have such a big role in the company, and that WWE has made a fucking point of just running over.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It was just cool for them, I guess. Like vicariously enjoying
that. There was that one rad-ass ref that was hilarious.
Yeah, that's true.
He was pretty awesome.
You know who wasn't rad? Earl Hebner.
His freaking legs.
It was nice to see him get another job, but dude, that dude is old. He's a veritable brain mantis.
Looking like a mantis.
Yeah, it was cool, I guess. I mean,
he almost fell to his doom, so that was
he's
cool.
He's not dead, so that's the thing. Anyway, there was a part of this event that I thought I wasn't gonna like, and that's the Yoshi match, which is just a Japanese women's wrestling field that's more concerned with entertainment than the sports angle of it, the hard-hitting angle of it. And I thought I was going to dislike this. One, because Japanese are very hit and miss for me in terms of
people?
Stuff.
Oh, okay.
In general. not in terms of wrestling specifically, but in general. Sometimes the Japs are like... That's right.
Bring out the hits.
That's right, the Japs. Holy shit, I just went back to the 40s.
Good one, dude.
Anyway, that's right, the Japanese. I'm sorry, Japanese people. I did not mean to say that. And yet, I said it.
It's an endearing term to us.
Look, I blame Superman for it. It was this comic book where he's on the cover going, slap a Jap, son. And ever since then...
You just ruined my saying it's an endearing term, but okay.
No, ever since then, that fucking term's in my head. Anyway, the Japanese have like a weird quality to their entertainment that sometimes I absolutely love. But then on the other end of the spectrum, sometimes I'm like, oh man, this is a thing somebody made. So I didn't know what to expect with the Yoshi match. But you know what? This ended up being one of my favorite matches of the night. It's
pretty good. Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun match.
Yes, they literally lived up to what this subgenre of wrestling is all about. Entertainment.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining. It was outrageously stupid and then, you know, over the top at times. But you know what? That's why it was fun. And they, you know, the girls could go. That's what And they had Aja Kong. Look, man, we have a particular fondness for hags.
Just in general.
And this old hag, and I stress old.
And hag.
She's a legend in the field.
She's got no teeth.
She's chewing gum. Her legs are stiff.
She comes out looking like Mabel.
Yeah. You know, when she came out, this is how legendary she is. I knew who she was. You know, I was like, oh, it's Aja Kong. All right. The first thing I was like, damn, them legs, though. This chick was working stiff, and I don't mean she was taking shoot shots. She was literally barely able to move her legs.
Frankensteining around.
Yeah, Frankensteining around. But somehow, once she warmed up, she was doing
dropping from freaking rafters and shit, doing breakdance moves. It's like, shit, dude, stop doing the spin-a-rooney for no reason.
This was a really fun match, man. So big kudos to these girls.
Yeah,
they were just incredibly fun to watch. I will say that the end was a little wonky, and it was obviously planned that way, but it kind of felt like a rip because you felt that the people that first got the win, quote unquote, really got the win.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like a slap in the face when the other people got the win. And it wasn't even a matter of face versus heel. It was more like, oh, come on, man.
Hag.
Yeah, the hag.
This was also the second time in the night that Freddie Mercury got a call out, apparently.
That's true. That's another pro.
So that's good. I also kind of liked her soccer mom-like look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Freddie Mercury got some representation, so that's good.
So, yeah, man, a really cool match. Didn't expect to like that so much. And I guess now I'm a fan of Aja Kong beyond the fact that she's a legend in her field. And, you know, that other girl, what's the magic girl, Yaka, whatever the hell?
Yeah.
You know, the Japanese girl.
Yeah.
One of them.
I think.
Let me see what else I got here in my notes. What the hell is this? I don't know. Sometimes I write a note and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What the? Oh, yes. Now I know what I'm referring to. Look, this is definitely a huge pro.
Okay.
And that's that this entire event didn't ignore the wrestling world. Like, it acknowledged that other things exist in the wrestling world, which is something that I absolutely despise about WWE.
Yeah. I mean, you had a match that was for the AAA titles.
Yes. And, you know, they referenced the pasts of characters and people. Yes, just in general, just acknowledging that there's respecting the fact that there are peers in your field.
Yeah, you're not trying to erase things.
Yeah, that the Japanese and the Mexicans have been doing this shit for a long time and they've exceeded you in talent. It's okay to acknowledge that, you know? It's okay to tip the hat to the people that you've taken so much from. You know, wherever the fucking wrestling originated, it doesn't matter. It's how it's evolved in other places, and it's influenced so many. So many wrestlers have gone to Mexico and Japan to hone their craft, and then they come to WWE and they're just that character, and forget everything they learned everywhere else and were everywhere else. You know, it was just cool to see that they could respect and acknowledge and not burn bridges and be so insular like the WWE. That was a big fucking plus. It was just cool to see, man. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because it kind of seems to be like they're... I mean, it just is that they're clearly on good terms with other promotions.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sharing talent with some. So that's kind of an interesting thing. That's a completely opposite to what WWE is.
Exactly,
it's like,
man.
You're here, you can't do anything else.
And yet, and also... maybe intentionally, but I don't think so because that's how they've been working for a while now, and that's really how the rest of the wrestling world's been working. But it was also kind of like an unintentional jab at WWE. Like, look, guys, you kind of destroyed yourselves by shutting yourselves down so much, by monopolizing. But anyway, that was cool, man. I also like to point out that WWE does this fucking thing that I hate. And it's cut to fan reactions that suck. And then they have to look for the one fan that's not like this.
Asleep,
You know, they have to look for the one guy, usually a kid or a fat lard like us, that's all like, and it's like for Roman, like, oh, they found the one guy that likes Roman.
Roman fan, yeah.
I hate WWE when they do that. Because it's overdone, yes. It takes, you're like, dude, I'm watching this match.
Stop.
Why do I want to see this idiot stuffing his face with popcorn? I hate it. Anyway, these guys right here did it. They cut to fan reactions at the right times.
Yeah, there was occasional like flubs, but they were like fine.
Yes,
yeah, and there was actual reactions.
Yes, there was actually people reacting to it genuinely, not some stooge they put in the crowd. What was it? Who was it that they were? Oh, Roman. It was Roman,
yeah, it was Roman. The Roman crowd, remember?
The faction of little Romanites that they fucking set
clearly planted.
Dude, it was horrid. Anyway,
they had a camera behind them, dude.
Yes. Anyway, they had none of this here. It was actual fan reactions, people actually being invested, and at the right moments for the most part. So that was good. That was a relief. The final match of this was the main event was Jericho versus Omega, Kenny Omega, and two of the biggest names in the game. I gotta say, as far as singles matches go, this is probably my second favorite match. Third, if you count the tag teams. This was a really good way to finish this off because you had the fucking pressure of beating the other singles match that really should have been the main event in terms of quality. How do you do that, man? This could have been disastrous. WWE fucks us up all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, that match was great.
We were loaded already, yeah.
We still have to do the main event, and you don't want to because Roman's you know it's not gonna beat it, and Roman's gonna be a part of it, and it's gonna suck. Nope, they didn't. You know what? They just didn't do it once. The match after the Dusty and Cody fight was the Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks, and that was a fucking blast. Usually in WWE we get great match, bullshit match you fucking forget immediately, and then a shitty match at the end with Roman in it.
Yeah.
This was like, we just got 3 quality matches back to back. Fucking kicks ass. I'm happy. So yeah, that final match kicked fucking anus. It was great. And of course, everybody's speaking about this by now, and that's Dean Ambrose. It was revealed. Now, I theorized previously on this channel that Dean Ambrose was just a ruse. It was just fucking him going out for a while to just reconfigure himself as a character. They didn't want to lose him, and he was going to go back to WWE. It was all going to be fake. I was wrong. I was very wrong.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I think
I'm glad I was wrong.
They're probably just buttering him up, trying to keep him there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm willing to bet that old fucking Dino had to take some Beano after I just wanted to bring Beano, our sponsor, into the mix.
Brought to you by Beano.
You got gas? Eat some Beano. Yeah. There, pay us, Beano. Anyway, next is... man, I'm willing to bet that old Dean Ambrose, the former Dean Ambrose, I should say, played them, man. He played WWE. Because there's no way in my mind that I can see Vince agreeing to a goodbye to somebody that he knows is going to go over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might say, well, Jericho, yeah, but hear Jericho speak now versus when he first was starting to do these little mega matches and New Japan matches. Hear him speak now, and he's like, yo, Vince.
Yeah.
Whoop, stinky.
And with Goldust, I think his contract just
started, yeah, with Goldust was the contract, but here with Dean, I mean, last I had heard, Dean claimed that he was just being done with wrestling.
Yeah.
So I could easily see him having played the fucking ruse on them and just went over here. And you know what? Immediately you could tell, even though he just went out there and did his old thing, immediately you could tell that there was a weight lifted off of him. You know what I'm saying? It just felt different.
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of just him doing something we expected.
Shitty gimmick to go with.
Yeah, there was no burden of a lame gimmick. There was no burden of maybe Roman's just going to come in and save the day. There was no, oh my God, that match he had with Jericho with a fucking plant. Anyway, none of that. There was just, this is a guy, and he's been introduced now, and if they fuck this up, then that's on them, but I don't think they are.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. It was a cool way to end it all.
A big thing. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not a Dean Ambrose fan. So there's that. And I still was like, you know what? I'm fine with Dean Ambrose being in this.
Yeah, I mean...
Because at least he's going to be doing his thing and not be miserable, clearly.
Look, let's face it. WWE ruined Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
For anybody that was familiar before him, I'm sure they're like, fuck this. We hated Dean Ambrose. I think people actually held on far longer than I expected them to the hope that Dean Ambrose would be fixed.
Yeah.
And he never was. Ever. Maybe towards the end there, because of his little ruse. I'm telling you, it was a ruse, man. They kind of like, all right, you can have a few decent matches, I guess. The point is, that's how this thing ended, with Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, coming out and planning everyone. Jericho, Omega.
The freaking ref.
The ref.
The fat guy who didn't come back the whole time.
Dude, that fat guy never come back. Anyway, overall, this was a stunningly good event. Let's give it a final rating. Give it to me on a scale of 1 to 10. Go.
If I were Marcus, this would be a 0. But I'm not Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a fun event. It didn't feel long, even though it was pretty long. It was fun throughout. Had some really good moments. I think that Dustin Cody thing alone.
That's legend. That's for the ages right there.
Yeah, it was like one of those things where like, you know you're seeing something that's gonna last.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, this is interesting. And again, it gave me that tingle. Almost did a little tear jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. I was jerking my gherkin to that. It also got me to say jerking my gherkin, so that's always great. Provided entertainment value just by watching that fat guy and wondering if he's gonna come back. He never did. And it was just good wrestling. People seem to enjoy it, as in the wrestlers seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's always good. So I'll give it like a 9.5.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 9.5, but that's only because we don't have much to compare it to.
Yeah.
So, in time, will that go up? Will that go down? Who knows? But if I compare it to WWE, this is like the bulk of events for the last, I don't know, decade. This is like a fucking 12,000. This was leagues and bounds above what WWE produces on a whole, because every match was entertaining. Every moment was not a moment wasted. And while WWE still has a lot to offer in terms of its talent, it's stifling its talent, and it's showing, period. So, there you go. They laid their cards out. Now, will WWE step up? Probably not. Yeah. But anyway, that's our thoughts on this. Let us know what you think. In the meantime, hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification buttons, because we're out.
Mm-hmm. Mark is hating.